Let me show you how I cut and sew my turtleneck BodyCon mesh top. I'll be sharing with you a very easy and detailed method on how to achieve this. Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. It is not compulsory to draft on a pattern paper, but because this is a tutorial and I want you to see my lines boldly, I will be drafting on this paper, but you can do exactly what I'm doing here on your fabric. My pattern is not on fold. I'll draw my startup line 2 inches away from the top. All my measurements will start after my startup line. The inches for this startup line is not a constant. Just make sure that you are starting from a very straight point. Place my tape on the top line. I'll measure from my shoulder to my hip line measurement. This is what I'm marking out here. Now for the neckline, we are using a neck width of 2.5 inches and the neck depth for the back of ½ inch. Connect it with a curve that is not too deep as shown. Now we are going to be marking the front and the back neckline on this piece. For the front neckline, we are using the same neck width. Then for the neck depth, I'm going to be using 2 inches for the neck depth. Next, I'll go ahead to connect the neck curve for our front neckline. I'll place my tape on my startup line and I'm going to mark out my bust point. I'll mark out my waistline or my half length. On the bust point line, I'll mark out my bust measurement divided by 4, the waistline, my waist measurement divided by 4, the hip line, my hip measurement divided by 4. Connect this point together and make sure you blend this point so that it is not pointed. On the top line, I'll mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'll mark the same measurement down here. Connect these 2 points with a straight line. I'll go up from my bust point by 2 inches. This is a constant and it works for everybody. Connect it to this line like this. Now go ahead to make my armhole curve as easy as seen. Then I'll connect this line together as shown. On my shoulder, I came down by ½ inch for my shoulder slant and I'm connecting it to the neckline like this. I'll go ahead to cut this out. Now if you are cutting on fabric, this will be both the front and the back on 4-fold. So now when cutting this out, when you get to the neckline, you are going to cut out the back neckline first. I'll cut out this neckline when I'm done cutting the back piece. I'll cut out this point as my desired full length because I don't want it to get to my hip line. So here, this is the fabric I'm using. It stretches both sides, but one side will be more stretchy than the other. So when you are cutting this out, make sure you are using the part that is most stretchy as the width of your cutout. So I've gone ahead to cut out the back part. I cut it on fold and as you can see, I did not add any sewing allowance. This is the cutout. I have 2 of these on fold because there's no need for a zipper at the back. So I'll keep one aside for the back. This one that is on fold will be for the front. I'll place this on fold and I'll arrange it so that it is very equal. I'll place my pattern on it and I'll also place my pattern to be arranged very well. Next, I'm going to pin this up to avoid it shifting and shaking. So I'll pin it up and I'm going to cut out this for the front neckline. Next, I would open this up and I'll place the back right side facing right side and we are going to join this together. When joining this, make sure you stretch it while you sew. This to avoid the thread breaking when you are trying to wear it. You are not stretching one part, you are placing the both of them together and stretching it as you sew. I'll measure the armhole point like this and what I have, I'll use it to draft the sleeve. Next, I'll mark out my sleeve length and it is very long. I'll come down 5 inches from the top line and this is for the cap. It works for everybody. Next, I'm going to be measuring my measurement I got for my armhole. I'll place the tape like this and I'm going to mark out that measurement here. So I'm going to connect this with a slanted line upwards. This other line is a mistake, so I'm just going to cross it out. Next, I'm going to get the center of this line like this and I'm going to make my sleeve curve like this. It will intersect at this point and it will go down like this. I'll connect this to the sleeve length like this. On this point, I'll measure my actual round sleeve measurement and I'm going to connect it with a curve rule like this. This is because it's a bodycon dress and the sleeve is expected to be fitted. So next, I'll go ahead to cut this out as you see me do, and this will be for the sleeve. I'll place this on fold and I will be cutting 2 for the sleeve. So I'm going ahead to cut this out, ensuring that the most stretchy part is the width. So for the dress, I've gone ahead to join the sleeve and every other part. Like I said, you are expected to stretch it as you sew. If you notice, I am stretching this and the thread is not breaking. That's the essence of stretching it while you sew, so that your thread will not be breaking off when you are wearing it. Next, we are going to be fixing the sleeve. Take the sleeve, notch the center of your sleeve, place this notched part on the joint shoulder of your top. You are going to pin this together. The side seam should be placed on the side of the top. You stretch this as you sew. Stretch to the fullest as you sew this all around. Do this for the both sleeve, and this is what it looks like for now without the collar. For the sleeve you are seeing that is extended, that's simply because I cut the sleeve more than my actual sleeve length, so I can just extend it to look like what it's looking like now. For the neckline, measure around the neckline. Do not stretch it while you measure it. What I have here is 15. So I'm going to be cutting this out on the most stretchy part of my fabric. For the width, I'm using 7 inches. For the length, which is my round neck measurement, I'm cutting out the exact measurement, which is 15. Do not add any sewing allowance. This is what we have. I'll place it on fold like this. Place it on another fold. Now I'm going to cut it out. You cut a slanted measurement. You're taking out ½ inch from the closed part, like so. This is what you should have. I'm going to open this up like this now, and I'm going to place it right side facing right side. And I'm going to join this together using 0.3 inches. So after joining it, you are going to trim it to be as small as possible, but not too small so that it will not fray out. Next, I'm going to place it on an equal fold like this. Yes, it looks small, but it can stretch very well so it can pass the head. I'm going to be notching this point, and this will be the front of our neckline. This joint part will be the back. I've already notched the back side. Now I'll place the shoulder together, and I'm going to get the center of my front and I will notch it down. This is our front notch. I'll take the band, and this place that have the joint will be the back. I'll place this joint point on the notch of the back, and I'm going to pin it up. Now I'm going to take the notch of the front band and place it on the front notch of the neckline, and I'll pin it up together. Pinning this up is very important to avoid any excess or any shortage. Make sure you stretch this very well as you sew this all around. So here I am done with the neckline. So the next thing will be how to finish this neatly. For the hem of the top and for the tip of the sleeve, just weave it and also weave the inside. Now for the weaving, you don't need any seam allowance, so do well to cut out your seam allowance to be as small as possible. After weaving this, you can give it a tiny fold at the tip of your sleeve, and while folding it, remember to stretch it as well. You can also decide to leave the sleeve and the hem unfolded, which is what I did. You can also decide to make your turtleneck smaller. Okay, now I'm actually wearing this with a camisole to cover my bra. You can decide to style yours as you want. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to see you in my next video. Bye.